What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Lennox Lewis. Big up England, big up, and Anthony Joshua. Get this. Lennox Lewis once again slams Anthony Joshua for being so tentative in an Usyk loss and says he has to learn and improve. Lennox Lewis criticized Anthony Joshua for being so tentative. He needs to learn from this and improve. AJ, of course, has decided against using his brute force and imposing frame as he tried to outbox a slick southpaw. Okay, but it proved it wrong, being that tactic, and Joshua was comfortably battered over 12 rounds. Okay, and Lennox Lewis, who has been embroiled in a feud with Anthony Joshua over recent years, vented frustration at his fellow Olympic gold medalist. He tweeted on the night, "Gotta give it up to Usyk on a great tactical performance. For Anthony Joshua, it's not the end of the road, but you can't be so tentative or wait till the 8th round to turn it around. Learn from this and improve." Lewis's words may resonate for AJ on the former champion's path to redemption. Let me counterpunch. This really wasn't bad. I think because Lennox Lewis is a critiquing fighter. He's like, Lennox Lewis is probably one of the best heavyweights his last 40 years, maybe. Other than like Tyson or Holyfield, and he's beat both of them. Lennox Lewis, he's like that guy that really doesn't get the respect. I don't know if he wasn't likable or whatever, but he knew his shit, okay? Anthony Joshua is supposed to be the replacement for that. He's just more popular. You know what I mean? It makes way more money. So he's on the A side of things most of the time, okay? Whereas Lennox Lewis was basically, like that B-side fighter, but was very talented. Therefore, through his talent, showed that he was better than the people that were the A-side. Okay, so a lot of people criticize Lennox Lewis for criticizing Anthony Joshua from maybe a sense of envy, maybe. Who knows? I'm not sure. But I can tell you, what he said about Anthony Joshua, was it right, though? Yes, it was right. Okay, so like Joshua was tentative. He was uncertain. He didn't really know what to do. He didn't really know what to deal and how to deal with it. You know what I mean? And the thing is, people need to understand, though, it's easy when you see that shit from the outside looking in. And you're seeing Joshua trying to figure this slick guy out, trying to outbox him, which was the wrong game plan. And like I told everybody that listened, as you guys know on this channel here, if he tried to outbox Usyk, he's going to lose. And he lost. Okay? That was the wrong game plan. However, him being so tentative equated a lot to do with the movement of Usyk, the head movement, the body movement, the upper body movement, the footwork. Those type of things kept Joshua always thinking, because Usyk would never reset. You know what I mean? He would never give you anything to really, he never gave you a solid foundation of stability to throw a shot. Why do you think Joshua was like this? Have you ever seen Joshua like that? Maybe the closest was probably Klitschko, but Klitschko didn't have all that body movement. That's why he was able to land on Klitschko. But it took him throwing punches at Klitschko. But I think the most aggressiveness would have to go from Joshua when he does attack the body. But attack, okay? Make sure attack, even if you land, if you hit on the shoulders, the forearms, the sides of the sides of the body, somewhere, anywhere, okay? Because that's what you're going to need. You're going to have to need an equal reaction from the action that the Usyk will put upon you, because that's what Usyk does. He anticipates your movement and counters off your movement, gets in, gets out, gets in, weaves out. You know what I mean? That's what he does. That's his game. But to be fair, though, when have you seen Lennox Lewis in there with somebody like Usyk? The only person I could think about that might have been difficult for Lennox Lewis would probably be Chris Bird, because Chris Bird was that guy that people hated to fight because he was quick, he was fast, he was smart, he was sharp, bars. He was that, and then some. You know what I mean? And he was conniving, because what he would do, he would taunt you. Oh, he had the perfect last name, you know. So Chris Bird, probably 6'2". He was like 6'2" at the time. You know, I mean, he went down on middleweight, trying to fight at middleweight or something lately. But when he was fighting, he was very effective. But how did he get dethroned? He got dethroned from somebody just saying, fuck it, let me go at him. And his name was Ike Ibarabuchi. Okay? Coming in with that African power. You know what I mean? And he had to show Chris Bird, like, yo, stop trying to knock Chris Bird out and just knock him out. You know, so if that's what Lennox Lewis meant, like, yo, fight this fucking guy, instead of let me try to figure out how to fight this guy, then he's right. But then again, it's hard to talk about a fighter when I haven't seen Lennox Lewis handle that type of fighter. See, my thing is this. When I hear anybody criticize a fighter from getting beaten by another fighter, I ask myself this question. Is the guy that got beat up by that other fighter, has that guy ever fought someone similar? Okay. You know what I mean? Like, even Michael Moore. Okay. Like, so, like, you know what I mean? Like, have he ever been in there with a southpaw? Because I don't really know him to be in there with a lot of southpaws. I got to do my research on Lennox Lewis and southpaws, but the southpaws that stick out was Chris Bird and Michael Moore. Well, needless to say, these days of age, you know, guys like Lennox Lewis was an anomaly. Now there's a norm. Joe Joyce, Anthony Joshua, Wilder, Fury, all these guys are over 6'5", 6'6". They're all big. So Lennox Lewis would just be a regular guy in the pack. In fact, he would be a little shorter. Not too much, because, you know, Lennox Lewis is like 6'4". He's a big dude. You know, even when he fought Michael Grant, I think, was 6'8" or 6'9", he still mopped the floor with him. So, you know, don't get it twisted. They're all big men. But fighting someone like that, you know, it's easy to say when you're on the outs, especially when I haven't seen any evidence of Lennox Lewis fighting somebody like that with that type of style. You know, but it not just Lennox Lewis, because I'm not singling Lennox Lewis out. You know, that goes for everyone that talks that shit, you know, and that goes for Tyson Fury, that goes for Andy Ruiz, that goes for whoever says, oh, well, he should have done that. You know, if you want to ask someone that's actually fought him, why don't you ask Chisora or Joe Joyce, and they could tell you. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Lennox Lewis criticizing Anthony Joshua for being so tentative in there. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.